Okay, before we begin the next major task of this review exercise, I'd like to have a discussion about the various sections of a report, sections that you can add to a report and place data into those sections to organize your report. That's really what this is all about, and you really need to make an effort to try to understand the various sections, because you really can't proceed with constructing a report, manipulating a report in Design View until you know these sections and what would typically go in each section, what data would typically go within each section of a report. So here's a picture, or I'm in print preview actually, looking at the report that we are going to create in the second part of the review exercise. And I'm looking at the last page. This is actually a 4-page report, but we're looking at page 4, and looking at page 4, I can tell just from my own experience and knowing about report sections that this report has several different sections. Okay, for example, if I see data at the very top of the page, and especially when it contains a page number, and I look all through the 4 pages of the report, and I see that same data, the date, the title, and a page number at the top of every page, I know that that data has been placed in the page header of the report. Anything that's placed in the page header is going to appear at the top of every page. Okay? And then also I'm looking at this line of data here. Not data, but really column headers. It's company name, product type, price, unit, and this line. Okay, that's part of the report design too. And then if I'm going back and forth through all 4 pages, I see that stuff also appears at the top of every page. So that too must be in the page header. It's at the top of every page consistently. Notice it doesn't change at all. That is in the page header as well. Okay, so I have a picture here where I've tried to organize it by color. Everything that we see outlined in green is going to be placed in the page header. When it's at the top of every page, it's in the page header. Okay, then I noticed something else about the report. The report appears to be organized or grouped by product type. So I'm looking through the report and I see product type benches and tables, product type fencing, product type. So product type is repeated over and over again when there's a new product type. Okay, and that's a grouping field. Product type is a grouping field. So this report is grouped by product type, and we see like I said, the repetition surrounding the product type. Okay, so we have a group header, and that would contain this data here. Product type, the label, and then the actual product type itself that's being pulled from the table in the database. So right here in blue, we have what would be in the group header. Okay, and then we have the actual, like the company name. I find that a little bit awkward that the company name is up in the page header, and then it kind of becomes disconnected. Even in the first record, near the top of the page, it's a little awkward to look at that, and you kind of have to put 2 and 2 together that that's a company name. And then when you get further down the page, you're even further away from the column header. I typically would not design a report like this, but it's okay. It's like the point is getting used to the sections and used to working in Design View. So there's the company name, the product type, the price, and the unit, and this is the actual data. All of this up to and not including this little line here. Everything you see here is being pulled from the underlying table in the database, and it's really the nuts and bolts of the report, the actual data that's being reported, and that is the detail section, which I've outlined here in pink. Okay. All right, and then it appears that they're also summing up the number of products in each product type group section. Okay, so when you have a sum at the end of a section that's being grouped, in this case we're grouping by product type and we're summing up the products under that product type, that would go in the group footer, which I've outlined in orange, including that little line. Okay, And then we also have another section, and you can only spot this one by looking at the very last page of a report, not just this one, but any report. And that would be the report footer, okay? And here we're getting a grand total number of products, and we're also adding a label for the student's name. And when it appears once at the very end of the report, then you have a report footer. So that's like usually used for summary information that you would include once at the very end of the report to sum up the whole shebang, so to speak, and that would be in the report footer in this case. Okay, so with that in mind, we'll move on to step 4, which will be creating the query on which this report is based.